Excellent. We're going to choose these. Edit imported rings. These are imported rings. I will zoom in very closely. Alt left click. And then this one would be Shift Alt left click. Next one is also Shift is to add to the selection, Alt left click. Shift Alt left click. Notice how I'm actually selecting between these vertices. Shift Alt left click. Perfect. Once we've got that, we're going to make cylinders. Some of them are inverted, like this one needs to be facing down. I'm going to choose these like Shift left click, and flip normals. That's looking good. And then we're going to accept these. Okay, so I don't know what depth this is because this comes from a different planning software. So we're going to accept hole cutter. And again, this one is wrong. This one is wrong. That one is wrong. Flip normals. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to then scale this out. So S to scale. Make sure that you've got enough material to clear away your guide layer. That's looking good. And then accept guide cutters. So now what I've got my cutting tools that are required to make the actual guide. This is what it looks like, and in the collection you'll notice hole cutters and guide cutters. Okay. So following that, we can now make our guide. I have been asked how we can use Stecco's attach inserts into this, because this is a little bit tricky because we don't have the point of origin set in each one of these, so we cannot just put these in there. So yeah, this is what this video is actually about. I shall hide the hole cutters and I will hide the guide cutters. And inside here we've got drill lengths. Okay. We shall separate all of these. So in the model designer or anywhere else where you see separate objects, click on that. These are all separated. Now we have to create an object with the Blender coordinates. So what I'm going to do in the guide module, I will select each one of these separate, and then in this section here, this middle section where there's fixation pin in this menu here, we shall then go around this. So we're going to make a clearance, apply, we're going to select the top of it, create sleeve, and then you can use these sleeves if you wanted to, but you don't have to. You can use your own sleeves, but an added advantage is that we've got this protrusion here, this buckle or label protrusion. So then we're going to make a hole, and these sleeves you can delete afterwards if you don't want to use them. So again, I'm going to expose these. I'll select it, and then I'll go and do this thing. I need to select the top here because this gives us the position where the sleeve has to be. I'm going to rotate it, trim, and make a hole. And we're going to continue this until we're to the other side. Notice that this is a little bit larger, I think, because we have put in another offset. In this video, I'm not going to be using these sleeves, but if you did, you just have to know that the offset would have to be smaller than that, because your initial sleeve already has an offset built into it. Point of this exercise is that if you look at this, the coordinates are all correct. It tells us where in Blender space this object is, what the rotation of it is in the 3D space. Okay, this is the one that we need to get our Stecco cutters. So let us import the Stecco cutters. So I'm going to go to the components, load my library, and look for my Steccos. And let's say, for example, you have an MIS. Let's just choose an MIS standard, append this into the scene. Okay, so this is my cutter. Now I want to bring this into this position. So shift left click, and then in the guide module, we will select and place insert. Okay, and that's placed it exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so but before I do that, I'll go one step back, and let's just duplicate these a few times. Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Shift D. Okay, so this one, and place it. This one, that one, and place it. There, there, place, there, there, place that, and there, and there, and place that. Okay, now that they are placed, we know that they are in the correct position. So if I delete this now, X delete, you see we've got it exactly in the correct location. Okay, so here what we can do is we can rotate this to where you want it to be. I'm not quite entirely sure how you want this to rotate. And of course, what I'm looking at is how much space we have. You always have to make sure that you've got enough printing space for this. So we're going to select all of these little red ones like this, and then click on this specific one, insert clearance, and that will make a duplicate version of these. It'll make it a little bit bigger, and then we're going to leave that at 0.1. If they're too loose or too tight, this is where you're going to change it. Apply this clearance, and then this is a voxel size. Okay, you can leave it at that voxel size because very precise, and then we're going to click the next one. Next, click on this one. Depending how many you're doing, this could take a while to calculate. If your voxel size was bigger, it would be a bit faster to calculate. So here we go. This completes it, and then we're going to make the surface, the guide after this. So then you would commence in making your surface or your tube or whatever you may have, and then the intersections need to be cleared. Now I'm going to expose the hole cutters, and you'll notice that there are separate hole cutters as well as one hole cutter here. So I'm going to hide this one. We want to grab these separated ones. Now these we can then scale, and you would have to then scale this accordingly so that you will be able to clear away the intersection inside of it. Okay, so that's a very important thing, because we've actually increased this with the metal sleeve insert.